My name's Thomas, and I'm a writer, which is something I never thought I'd be able to do. What I love about writing is that I can give my stories a beginning, a middle, and an end. They make sense. They feel complete, unlike my own life story. Surprise, I have a brain injury. It's hard to tell, I know, as I like to keep my brain on the inside. I survived a pretty nasty road accident when I was 19. I was very lucky just to wake up. I'd broken my back, but though it was painful, I could walk and talk, which was amazing. But a lot was missing. I was alive, but not the boy who had crossed the road that night. He was gone. I had lost my childhood memories. Nowadays, you might not know that I have a disability when I'm having one of my good brain days, which is how I managed to keep blagging my way through adult life, like I have the faintest clue what everyone's on about. But other days, life can be very hard. The scar tissue in my brain causes me to have seizures, and I can no longer recognize people, which is endless fun. I struggle with noises, smells, and I get very tired, but it's not all bad. I have a very cool scar back here, which my 3-year-old loves to poke. It hasn't just affected my long-term memory. My short-term memory can be pretty temperamental too, especially after a seizure. My lovely wife now says that apparently I have a catchphrase. Apparently when I've forgotten something, I'll often insist, I think I'd remember that. Apparently, I've said it on the mornings when I'm convinced that somebody else has eaten my breakfast, even though I just made it for myself. I said it on the mornings when I've gone through half a bottle of shower gel, even though I'm pretty sure I haven't even washed my face yet. And she's still laughing about the day when I called her into the room with great excitement because our 2-year-old had somehow dressed herself perfectly. My daughter's little face, silly daddy, you just dressed me. Yeah, I think I'd remember that. I've come a long way since my accident, but I'm going to take you back 16 years to the beginning of my search for all those lost memories. It was 2003. There was a lot going on and so much to learn. I was learning so much, but also trying hard to remember. And it took me a while to realize just how much I had lost. That's the thing about amnesia, is you don't really know how much you've forgotten until people start telling you all the things you should know. And I kept telling them, I think I'd remember that. But I started my journey with a lot of hope. I was told that in the process of trying to catch up to everybody else who'd been born in the 80s and 90s in London, that something or someone or some place might unlock some of those memories. I went to a lot of the places I'd been to as a child, all the parks and shops at my old schools, but nothing was coming back to me. I went to places we'd been to on holiday and travelled the tube on all the routes I used to take in my teens, but still nothing. I went through old pictures I had drawn and letters I had written, and went through every hilarious photograph of me in my adolescence in various phases and styles, and still nothing. And even in all the time I was being retrained as a fully acceptable British adult, nothing was ringing any bells. Nothing when I was schooled in the essential English custom of beginning and ending every conversation with the word, sorry. Nothing when I finally realized that, in fact, John Lennon and Lenin, not the same person. I mean, I knew the singer was political, but I had started to wonder. And still nothing in all the time that my lovely family kept trying to teach me that as a fully grown British adult, I really didn't need to hug people so much, or cry so much, or be quite so excited on Christmas Eve. My family had been so supportive, and they tried everything to help me regain those early years. But as time was going on, the boy with my name in so many stories and grainy photographs remained another person in another world. And the first few years, it didn't really bother me so much. All my siblings and friends were so young, and everything was about the present. But as our 20s ticked by, things started to change. With our parents pushing 70, suddenly childhood was everything. And soon I couldn't go a day without hearing, remember that summer and remember those long holidays? And it started to feel very unfair. I had lost so much of our family life, those early years that make us who we are. I'm going to stop, sorry. Sorry. Forgetting? Really weird that I'm so forgetful today. I'm doing better than I thought I would. On the eve of my 30th birthday, as a decade of searching my brain drew to a close, I decided to just try and accept that it was gone forever. I had a bright future ahead of me, about to marry the girl I loved, and so I decided to focus on that and face the big 3-0 with optimism. And we were planning an 80s themed birthday party, because I was born in 83, and I started to put together a playlist of suitably abysmal 80s music. I started going through all the tracks. It was late, I went to bed, I put my earphones in and shut my eyes. And I started going through the music track by track, adding each song to the playlist. After 10 years of radio, I knew each track by heart. But then I pressed skip one more time, and that's when it happened. The most surreal moment of my life. A song I had somehow not heard in all that time, The Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys, began to play. And I was transported. Suddenly, I was sitting on a strange blue floor, staring at a silver stereo. Then suddenly I was in another place and walking in bright sunshine, holding a giant man's hand beside a fence. And in a flash, I was in another curious place, and another, until finally I saw some coloured glass lights on an enormous Christmas tree. Near the tree, standing in a doorway, there was a woman. She was young, she was smiling, and she didn't have grey hair. She was my mum, and I was her little boy. And it was real. I was finally there with her at last. It's such a short moment, and nothing much was said. But it's mine, and that changed everything for me. Since then, a few more early memories have come back. Not many, but at least now I can face the rest of my story with something at the beginning in my mind. Okay. It was that magical night that inspired me to start writing. I always leave blank pages in my books, not just because I'm lazy, but because the hero has epilepsy and a brain injury like me, and when he forgets a part of his life, it doesn't stop him being the hero on the next page. He's still on the adventure. He's not lost. I'm still on my adventure, and I'm now even more obsessed with all things 80s and 90s. My wife has very mixed feelings about this, particularly the music. But it's a new chapter, and we're now making new happy memories with our 2 little girls, who now play in the same parks that I'm told I played in at their age. I'm still going to have seizures and get frustrated with my dodgy memory, including today. But at least now I can put my thoughts down on paper and know that they'll still be there for me tomorrow. This has been amazing, sharing my story with all of you here at Fringe on the BBC. A truly unforgettable experience. And next week, when I've forgotten it, please think of my wife as I'll be telling her, I think I'd remember that.
Wow, guys, what an amazing story. Make some noise for Thomas Leeds.